Welcome back. So far, we have discussed the optimal control design for non-autonomous system whenever we have some kind of practical situation. Practical situation means controls are bounded as well as states also has certain kind of limitations. And what we found that using Pontryagin minimum principle, we are able to design some kind of optimal control which is able to minimize the given performance measure. And in today's lecture, basically, I am going to define or I am going to take very specific performance measure in order to talk about the minimum time problems. And in the third lecture, whenever when I have talked that how to select performance measure, we have already seen that there exist several problems where our objective is to transfer a system trajectory from arbitrary initial state to a specified target set in minimum time, and that classes of problem is called minimum time problem. And in today's lecture we are going to explore that particular class of problem. Philosophy remains the same. We are going to use the Pontryagin minimum principle. So so let us try to specify the mathematical formulation of problem. So mathematically I have some kind of non-autonomous system. Here you can see that right hand side is explicit function of xt, ut as well as time, and I am assuming that xt belongs to Rn and ut belongs to Rm, and our objective is to transfer the system state initial state x0 to a target set. So target set is given to me and I have to transfer from initial condition to target set in minimum time, and due to that reason my performance measure is just function of time, and we have defined performance measure in this particular way. Apart from this, since we are talking about realistic situation, so most of time in realistic situation our control is constrained, and here I'm talking about normalized control, means I'm assuming that suppose my control is bounded by unity. So each and every component, since that is m number of control I have, so each and every component of control is bounded by some maximum limit, that is 1. And since I have to transfer system from t0 to t star, so basically we are assuming that that control, admissible control, is defined in this particular time interval. Again, approach I have already told that I am going to use the Pontryagin minimum principle to obtain the optimal control law. Before going to the mathematical formulation of the exact problem, we are going to see what is limitations of minimum time control problem by taking very simple example. So in this particular example I am going to talk about intercept problem. This problem is very pretty useful for particularly for defense point of view, because several times what happens, we have some kind of enemy missile or something, and what we have to do, we have to pursue that. Either we have to destroy them or catch them. So both objective we have. So in this particular problem, we have aircraft and we have certain missile. Missile is located at x equal to a and y equal to 0. It means that both aircraft and missile is actually moving horizontally. And at the time t equal to 0, we are assuming that aircraft at x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. Whenever we are try to pursue some missile, we have to identify the path or trajectory of the missile. So for the simplicity of problem, we are assuming that our aircraft using some mechanism, they are able to identify the trajectory of missile, and that trajectory, since missile is moving only horizontally, due to that reason I have some kind of change of component along x-axis, and that is defined like this. And there is no vertical displacement, because we are just talking about the horizontal motion for all t greater than equal to 0. So this is the missile trajectory. Now I have already told you that since we are talking about the optimal control problem, and in that particular problem, minimum time problem, and in that particular class of problem, we have to identify the target set, because our objective to move to target set in minimum time. So in this particular example, my target set is nothing but that is the trajectory of the missile, and here we have moving target. So target may be stationary or moving. So most of realistic problem, target is moving, and that is little more complicated also. So we are considering moving target in this particular problem. And in order to solve any problem, we have to just first go through the mathematical model, and simple mathematical model is not possible without any assumption, and due to that reason I am going to make some kind of relevant assumptions. We are assuming that gravitational and aerodynamical force, that is very small or negligible, and whatever mass of the aircraft, I am going to assume that as a unity. Then I can use Newton's law, and F equal to ma, and here x, since we are moving in x direction only, due to that reason mass, that I am going to assume that as a unity, mx double dot equal to ut. It means that whatever trajectory we are assuming, that is going to follow by the aircraft, that is two time differentiable. That kind of inherent assumption we have, otherwise I cannot apply Newton's law. And after that I am going to do the state space representation, and in a state space representation I have system like this. In system can be given in this particular way. And after that we are assuming that whatever control that is responsible for moving the aircraft, that is bounded, and bounded by some value, that is 1. And now what is our objective? Our objective is to intercept that particular missile in minimum time. Due to that reason we have to make sure that aircraft, whatever control that is applied to aircraft, or whatever thrust that is going to apply to aircraft, that should be maximum. Then only I can ensure that in minimum time I can intercept the missile. And due to that reason I am going to select the maximum amount of control, that is ut equal to 1, and I am assuming that t equal to t star, I am going to intercept that missile, and due to that reason this particular control is defined in that particular range. Now I am going to find that t star or feasible t star using some kind of simple geometry. So initially I am assuming that aircraft at x equal to 0 and y equal to 0. So x is the two state, x1 x2, so both equal to 0, and everywhere I am going to apply the maximum amount of control, that is unity. So from here you can see that this solution x to t is nothing but x to 0, and after that t, and at t equal to 0 initial condition is 0. In this way I can able to claim that x to t is t. And now if I substitute t here, then I can further obtain one equation x1 dot t, that is t, and this implies that x1 t is t square by 2 and plus x1 0, and initial condition at t equal to 0, that is 0, and due to that reason my trajectory that is going to generate, or whatever way actually aircraft is evolved, that is given by this particular algebraic relation. Now, since missile is we know the path of missile is going through this path. Due to that reason, in order to do interception, in order to claim interception, I have to make sure that both quantity at t equal to t star that exactly equal, and due to that reason I have substituted this. After substitution, you can see that this is third order algebraic equation, t cube 0.1 plus half t square plus a. It is possible to show that this equation do not have always solution for any particular value of a. Why I am claiming that? Because time is always positive quantity. So I have to find positive solution. Due to that reason, there always exists certain kind of limitation on a, and it is possible to show that interception is possible provided that a is greater than this particular value 1.85. So this kind of things, it means that for interception t should be positive. So if I select a greater than 1.85, then only I can able to tell that okay, interception is possible. Suppose missile is clever, and if they have selected a that is something that is less than 1.8, then interception is not possible. So if 1.85, then interception occur at t equal to this second. By putting this number, it is possible to solve that particular equation, and it is possible to show that if a is less than 1.85, then minimum interception time is less than this particular value. It means that if I have told little bit, I have given little bit wrong information, that here we are telling that it is impossible if a is greater than 1.85. Due to that reason, I have to make sure that a should be less than 1.85. Then only I can able to do interception. Otherwise, I cannot able to do interception. And due to that reason, it is possible to show that minimum time is 3.3 or less than 3.3. So if minimum time is greater than this, then I can claim that optimal control doesn't exist for this particular problem. So from this simple problem, what we have seen that optimal control or minimum time problem or minimum time control problem is not so straightforward. There always exists certain kind of limitation, and that limitation is based on the physical situations. So for certain value of a in this particular problem, initial condition a time optimal control doesn't exist. So sometime if I have certain system, then it might possible that time optimal control exist or not exist. After that, if that control is exist, what we found that entire operation I have to apply maximum amount of thrust. So try to see this particular thing by taking one physical example. So suppose that you want to travel from point 1A to point B. You have some car and you have two actions. Either you can accelerate your car and deaccelerate your car. So suppose you want to move from point A to point B in minimum time, then you have to accelerate your car in between. Everywhere you have to accelerate your car with maximum speed and deaccelerate also with maximum speed. So during whole operation, if we are going to solve the optimal control problem, at that time we have to apply the maximum effort in terms of magnitude. Either that is positive, because in this particular simple example when I am talking about car, at that time whenever we are accelerating, then I have to apply maximum amount of thrust, and whenever we are deaccelerating, same kind of things we have to do. So magnitude wise, that is again some maximum. Now let us come to the classes of problem at least for those classes of problem, I am able to talk about the optimal or time optimal control problem. So minimum time problem. So in order to talk about minimum time problem, first I am going to take very special class of nonlinear system. And if you see carefully, so in this particular system, this axt, that is nonlinear, bxt into ut is linear. So this system is just generalization of this particular system, at xt plus bt into ut. So this is my LTI system, linear time LTV system, linear time varying system. And in place of this whole quantity, now I am going to take some kind of function. Similarly, in place of bt, that is just depending on time, that is also depending on a state now. And this class of system has similar kind of structure like linear time varying or time invariant system, and this is called linear. This particular system is called affine in control system. So I have considered affine in control very special class of system, and it is possible to show that large class of system one can represent using this particular affine in control system way. And here again I am assuming that xt belongs to Rn, ut belongs to Rm, and here b, that is function of xt, that is lying on Rn, and Cartesian product time is positive r plus, and that map to Rn. After that, what I am assuming, since realistic situation we have already seen that when we have started the time optimal problem, at that time we are assuming that control that is actually bounded. So I am assuming that maximum value of that bound of control is mi plus and minimum value is mi minus. So each and every component is bounded. And now I have already told you that whatever strategy I am going to use, that is same like previous class. So I am going to use the Pontryagin minimum principle. So first step, I have to again define this particular Hamiltonian. So in order to define this particular Hamiltonian, what I am going to do, I am going to consider some kind of functional, and this first part of this functional. So since my performance measure is like this, that is dt, so here you can see that this is multiplied by 1, so that term we have substituted here. And after that I have to define the co-state variable, and dimension of co-state variable is same like the dimension of state, and whatever multiplication of the co-state variable, that is coming from this particular dynamics. So my dynamics is axt or vector field, you can tell. So same kind of things I have substituted here. Now I am going to apply the minimum principle, and what we have found in minimum principle in previous class, that if something satisfy the minimum principle, then whatever optimal control I am going to design, that contain the minimum value. And so for all, you can select all admissible control. So here you can see that for all admissible control ut, this u star will satisfy this kind of relation, and this relation holds from t0 to t star when we are going to hit the target, and for all ut, and that belongs to some admissible limit, and here admissible limit is plus mi plus to mi I minus. So in that particular admissible control limit, this particular relation should satisfy. And if we have not any constraint, then at that time I can able to calculate the control just by this particular relation. But here means whenever we are talking about minimum time optimal control and anything, at that time we have always constraint on the control. And one more important point I want to clarify here, that whenever we are talking about minimum time problems, at that time we are assuming that we have just constraint on the control, not any constraint on the state. And due to that reason, there is no need to argument any variable. So in previous class we have seen that whenever we have a state constraint, then how to deal with that particular constraint. So we have already well aware. Now from this particular relation, from this 1 and 1 is going to cancel, and after that now you can see that these two quantity is also exactly equal. So now we have inequality, simplified inequality is like this. And I can also rewrite this particular inequality in component wise, because B contain m number of entry which is multiplied with control. So each control ui, and I am going to take their corresponding term. So I have m number of control input. Due to that reason I have m number of term. So in this particular matrices I have represented the m number of term. Now here what is our assumption, because we are talking about time optimal control problem, and just we have seen that whenever we are talking about time optimal control, at that time I have to apply maximum value or minimum value. So we have to play with extreme limit, and due to that reason now this kind of things comes into picture. So first you can assume that whatever control components we have assumed that all are independent, and if this particular relation will satisfy, it means that if this ui u star is going to minimize the Hamiltonian function, then what happens, that this should be minimized with respect to u. So we have to select u such that this become minimal. So from here, from this particular inequality we can conclude that particular fact. So now you can see that if the coefficient of ui is positive, then ui must be a smallest admissible control mi plus. So what we have to do, we have to check this particular coefficient. If that is positive, then I have to apply the minimum value of the control input, and if that is negative, then we have to apply the maximum value. So same kind of things I have basically retained. So this is obvious from the previous class, that if coefficient of ui that is positive, then ui must be smallest admissible control input, and admissible control input is mi, and after that if ui is negative, then admissible control is mi plus. And in this way I am able to define the optimal control, same like the previous class, that if this is less than 0, then mi plus I will apply, if that is greater than 0, then I will apply mi minus, and if that equal to 0, then this is undetermined. So this is the singular point. So whenever we are going to solve the optimal control problem, then singular interval comes into picture. So how to take care of singular interval, in this course I am not going to talk, but at least for linear system, in next class I will talk about linear system, where it is possible to show that that kind of singular interval will not exist. So but it is not too much worry about the singular interval. Even if some singular interval is exist, it is possible to show that system can still, one can able to steer system from any initial condition to 0 in some minimum time. So let us try to see the relationship between time optimal control and coefficient of Hamiltonian. So what we have found, that if coefficient of Hamiltonian that is positive, then I have to apply the minimum amount of control, that is mi, this is the optimal control, and after that if that is less than 0, then I have to apply maximum value. But if that is 0, that this quantity is 0, it means that control is not going to affect, because if this quantity is 0, so whatever control you can apply, that is not going to affect the system. So just we have to make sure that in this particular singular interval my system is stable, then I can able to derive the optimal control. So that kind of assumption I have, and after that again, since this particular curve is going in positive direction, due to that reason that should be minimum. Now let us try to come, whenever we are solving the minimum control problem, then one principle that comes into picture, that is called bang bang principle, and that class of control is also called bang bang control. So what is meaning of that? If the state equation, suppose a state equation is specified in the Fn in control form, and dimension of state is Rn and Ut is Rm, and admissible control input that is actually constrained by this particular value. So it is better that I have to write here, because Ut is constrained. So I have to write like this: Ut, that is the belongs to U, and that is subset of Rm. So in this way we are representing, and after that I have constraint. So each and every component of control that is bounded by this particular way. So I have some minimum value, I have certain kind of maximum value. Then the optimal control to obtain minimum time response is maximum effort throughout the interval of operation. So same kind of things. Bang bang means we have to work at the extreme. Then only I can tell that in minimum time I can able to achieve this objective. And I have already told you the intuition. Suppose you have to drive a car from one point to another point, so you have to apply maximum acceleration. And similarly, whenever you have to stop, because whenever you start here and stop here, then somewhere you have to increase and somewhere you have to decrease. You want to move in minimum time, so you have to accelerate very fast, you have to deaccelerate also very fast. So same kind of principle is called bang bang control. I will tell you one example where one can apply the bang bang control in the space mission. So I have considered the one lunar rocket, and during the terminal phase, what I'm going to do, that I'm going to do soft landing on Mars in minimum time. So this is minimum time control problem. It means that I have performance measure that is defined like this particular way. So here I have nothing but dt. Now first step, in order to design any optimal control, either minimum time optimal control or any other classes of optimal control, first we have to do the mathematical model. And I have told you that mathematical model should be not too much complicated, and if that is too much complicated, then it is very difficult to do analysis. We have at least whenever we are designing control, then at that time we have to perform the analysis in qualitative way, because these are all are nonlinear system, and due to that reason we have to keep the complexity, mathematical complexity of the system as simple as possible. Obviously that is not simpler. So what I am going to assume, that I have some kind of a spacecraft, and a spacecraft has mass m, and after that a spacecraft's mass rate means, what we are going to assume, that one thrust we have to generate. Due to that reason, it means that whatever fuel here, that should be burned with some speed, and that is that. So we are in deacceleration phase, because we have to do soft landing. Due to that reason, we are assuming that I have control, and actually control is directly proportional to m dash. It is possible to show that thrust is directly proportional to m dash, that is some negative value minus m, and g is the gravitational constant near the field of moon, and we are assuming that that is actually we are in the near of moon surface, we are here. So due to that reason, I am assuming that physics people has already given or calculated the value of gravitational constant for us, and that is constant. And after that, k is the constant, that is relative exhaust velocity of gas. Means if you fire the gas gas means quickly in the upward direction, then what happens that this force mg whatever acting, that is compensated by that, and that thrust we have defined like this. So k is the constant and relative exhaust velocity of gas constant, and m dash we have already defined. In this way we are able to define the thrust. This is thrust, thrust. So this is the thrust. Now after that, since I have to do mathematical model, so I have to do certain kind of assumption. So what kind of assumption we have? We are assuming that aerodynamical and gravitational force of the bodies other than the moon are negligible. So since we are going to do soft landing on the moon surface, due to that reason I am assuming that whatever nearby planet or any other object, that is not going to apply much gravitation force or any aerodynamical force. And after that we are assuming that we have designed in landing mission in advance in such a way such that lateral motion is ignored. So whatever trajectory, most of time whenever we are designing mission, at that time we are providing some kind of information to our system that how basically they are going to do the soft landing, and at that time most of time we are doing soft landing vertically, and due to that reason we are assuming that descent trajectory is vertical, and thrust vector, since the descent trajectory is vertical, due to that reason we are assuming that thrust vector is tangential to the trajectory. And after that, another assumption, the acceleration of gravity is constant, because the nearness of the spacecraft, most of time whenever our spacecraft is actually few kilometers from the moon, then we are basically start our soft landing, and due to that reason we are assuming that gravitational constant at that particular distance, that is remains constant, and relative velocity of exhaust gases with respect to a spacecraft, that is constant. So we have assumed it means that there is no relative velocity, and mass rate is constrained by this particular relation. So due to that reason thrust automatically constrained, because that is multiplication of km dash and km. So in this way we have some kind of nonlinear system that is actually model like this. So if you just see the at time interval t, at that time I can apply F equal to ma. So by applying force equal to mass into acceleration, and after that here this is the gravitational force and this is the upward thrust, and upward thrust is proportional to the negative of km dash. Due to that reason now we have this kind of equation. Now I am going to assume three states x, x2 as a x dot, and mass rate of decrement of mass I am going to assume that m, and that is nothing but the controlling variable. So if uh, I want to apply more thrust, then I have to fire or I have to burn the gas as quickly as possible. And if you will write this whole equation in terms of state space, then you can see that we have third order, and this is non-linear differential equation. Why non-linear? Because we have some quantity in 1 by x3, that is x3 is one kind of state, so this is non-linear. And after that this is also force system, and this system nowhere in right hand side we have explicit dependency of time. So I can tell that this is non-linear force system. So and or time invariant force system, non-linear time invariant force system I can tell. Now in order to define the minimum time control or time optimal control, I have to again define the Hamiltonian. Again this quantity is coming because we are assuming that I have minimum time control problem t0 to tf, and this is dt, so whatever coefficient that is unity, and after that I have to select p1, that is co-state variable, and I have to multiply co-state variable on the vector field, means right hand side of this is called vector field. So p1 into x2, similarly p2 into this whole quantity, and p3 into this quantity. In this way I have this kind of Hamiltonian equation. Now what I have to make sure that optimal control should satisfy the Pontryagin minimum principle. And it means that we have to design control, optimal control in such a way such that my Hamiltonian function contain minimum value. So whatever possibility, all possibility we have to see all possible control input, and out of that we have to select minimum one. And if that will exist, it is possible to show that u star I can design. Since now you can see that whenever this is less than 0, then I have to apply maximum amount of control, and here maximum of amount of control, we are just talking about the soft landing. So what we are going to do, we are not going to apply any kind of control in the vertically downward direction, and due to that reason thrust along that equal to 0. But when this is greater than 0, then I have to apply the maximum amount of control, that is minus m, and if that is exactly equal to 0, then control is not going to affect, means thrust is not going to affect the system. So we have to make sure that if thrust is not going to affect our system, then what is situation. So we have to do this kind of analysis. So you can see that now in order to design optimal control problem, I have to solve by defining Hamiltonian. We have already seen that once I know the Hamiltonian, at that time I am able to define the state equation, co-state equation, and boundary condition. So based on a state equation, co-state equation, and boundary condition, now we have some kind of value of p3 star x3 star. If I will substitute there, then I can able to define the optimal control. Due to that reason, means definition of the optimal control or design of optimal control is not so much straightforward. That is computationally again required lot of calculation. We have to solve that. Since we have three co-state variables, so we have to solve three equations. We have to three state equations should be that should be solvable, and after that we have boundary condition, and if we are able to do that kind of calculation, so by after doing that back calculation, if I will substitute here, then only I can able to define the optimal control. And after that, even if you will define, then we have to take care about the singular interval. Singular interval means when something, even if I will apply some kind of thrust, but system is not working at that particular moment, that kind of things basically appeared. So in next class, this particular thing, means singular thing, become more clear to you when I will take very special class, very simple class of system to define again same problem, time optimal control problem for linear time invariant system. So I am going to conclude the today's lecture. So what we have observed in today's lecture, that time optimal control problem is one of the very important problem for the prospect of the particularly the defense point of view, or a space point of view, or also we have to understand that whenever we have to move something very quickly in minimum time, then how to design the control. And after that, what we found that whenever we are trying to solve this class of problem, minimum time optimal control problem, at that time some kind of bang principle comes into picture. It means that I have to apply the extremum value of the control, and after that means defining the problem in proper way, it is possible to solve that this class of problem is easily solved using Pontryagin minimum principle. So with this remark, I am going to end the today's lecture. So thank you very much.